it was pushed into everybody's head that you've got to go to college or you will not be successful.
Okay, let's talk through that for a second. Do you agree with that now?
No.
You've got 3 kids.
No.
You got 3 boys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One that's a senior, fixing to graduate and go play ball, go to UAB. It's amazing, and it makes you super proud.
Right.
It's been a lot of hard work. Then you got the two boys, and they're how old?
They are 14.
14 twins. I have had the thought. Let me say this. There's a guy. His name's Barry Reese.
Mm-hmm.
Barry played college soccer at Abilene Christian. Barry is extremely successful now. So I remember we were sitting in my kitchen, my first kitchen that was mine, was 441 square feet. And Barry owned a tire company. Mm-hmm. He sold software and tires all over the country.
That's right.
Okay. And he looked at me and said, if my kids have to go to college to learn how to make a living, I failed as a parent. That's right. And I will say this, and I will credit this to him for as long as I live. I will never forget that. Yeah. And it's changed the lens by which I parent these days, because I wanted to prepare my kids now that if they want to go to college, great. Because I think that college is a great landing strip for learning. I think it's something you transition from high school into college and then on. Because here's the thing. Physically, our brains are not developed enough at 18, 19 years old. And so there needs to be a time of growth. And honestly, college is a spot where you can screw it up and it still be okay.
That's right.
You obviously proved that going to college 3 years, not really getting anywhere. So you come home, you start working for your dad. You deem yourself not as a failure, but just not as successful at this point. 25, 26, 27 years old, and you're like, oh, crap, what am I going to do?
Well, actually, my dad was working for somebody, and I was working for the same company.
Okay.
So it wasn't even as good as being, like, there was nothing except for you're working for a plumbing company, and you're making $9 an hour.
Oh, Lord. So tell me about that. So you go home and go start working for this plumbing company with your dad.
That's right, and did really well.
What does that mean, did really well?
Well, most people when they go into plumbing, it takes five or 6 years before they can really do their job.
Yeah.
I was really skilled at running a backhoe, and so I was an apprentice running a truck, pulling a backhoe, doing dig jobs. Within the first year.
Do you accredit that you being a plumber's kid growing up?
Yeah, my dad taught me how to run the backhoe when I was like 14.
I love it.
I stood in the ditches and watched him dig, and so by mentally watching the technique that he used when I got on it, it was like, okay, I just need to learn how the controls work.
Sure.
I already know how to dig. So
that's good.
That really helped me a lot. So we worked there. I guess I worked there 2 or 3 years.
Okay, you working with your dad for another company for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
What then?
So they started to have problems, and I had developed relationships with all the builders because I worked for them.
Okay, you told me this 2 weeks ago, and I didn't understand the difference, but I do now. So there's 2 different types of plumbers. The plumbers that you call if your toilet stopped up, the sink stopped up,
That's
or
right.
there's a problem at your home, and it's called service plumbing.
That's right.
But then you have the other type of plumbing that's more of contract plumbing, where you contract with a builder and you run all the pipe and you run all those things.
That's right.
Totally different animals.
That's right.
For a long time now, you guys have not done the service portion.
That's right.
Is that correct?
That's right.
So what were y'all doing when you were working for this guy?
We were doing contract plumbing.
Contract plumbing. So you're installing things.
That's
You're
right.
not going to Miss Smith's house and fixing toilets.
That's right.
Okay. So tell me, so they started having problems, and you had made relationships with all the people, the contract people.
That's right. And so I'm very, I dream big.
Yeah, sure. I love that.
I knew my dad had a really good talent, was known to be one of the best plumbers in the Birmingham area. And so I just kind of started talking to my dad. It's like, hey, let's go in business. You got a master plumbing card. I know I'm only apprentice, but going back to college, I learned everything I needed to learn in the first year or two. Accounting 101, I learned everything, After that, I didn't need any more accounting, for what I do in business.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to do taxes. I'm going to hire an accountant.
Correct.
But all I need to know is how to do credits and debits and understand how to read a P&L, I learned all that.
Go back. Say that again. Say that loud.
Understand-
What is one of the most important things in business is what?
Learn how to read a profit and loss statement.
Learning how to read a P&L. If you're out there, listen, and you want to go into business, you need to Google, YouTube, whatever. Learn how to read a P&L.